The Western football team held its first practice yesterday, a little later than planned. The Vikings, ranked second in the preseason NAIA poll, were going to start workouts last week in preparation for an opener next Wednesday against Wesley College up in Anchorage, but that game was canceled. Now Western is slated to open the '96 campaign at PLU on September 21st. The second-ranked Western football team plays its home opener this Saturday against UPS. The Vikings are coming off a big win over then 12th-ranked PLU to start the season.
I mean, it was a big win for us and everything, but I think the whole team sees that there's a lot of stuff we need to improve on, especially offensively. We found a lot of negatives in the game that we're going to, improve and build on.
As you enter week one with so many questions, and now we know some answers. We have an idea of what our strengths may be. We have an idea what our weaknesses are, and you try to certainly build upon those strengths and maybe reduce or even eliminate those weaknesses. So, yeah, we can improve, and we hope to improve each and every week. We need to do that. We've got a UPS team this week that is much improved over the team we saw a year ago, and we know that we want to be at our best for the home opener.
In the back of their heads, the Vikings will be thinking about the last time they played at home, a bitter loss to Central that has become a rallying cry for this season.
Every time we think about, the first round loss to Central, it kind of motivates us a little more, especially in practice if we're having a down practice or something. That's all you got to do is think of that or say that.
Hopefully we'll go farther. We got to build on that, and it's sort of a momentum thing, I guess, to look back on that and say, okay, we lost our first round of the playoff, now let's do better than that.
Quarterback Darren Erath finally steps in this year as the Western starter. The junior from Puyallup gained valuable experience the past 2 seasons, getting playing time in every game.
It feels good to finally get a chance to prove myself, and being out there with the team that surrounds me, makes it a lot easier.
Erath connected with wideout Chris Nickel for 191 yards and 3 of his 4 touchdowns against PLU. Meanwhile, starting running back John Frazier is out 4 to 6 weeks with a knee injury. Lyndon Scott Notaboom, a transfer from WSU, will start at fullback, while Ryan Wiggins moves into Frazier's tailback spot. Coach Smith says despite those developments, the run is still key.
We want to get back to basics and run the football effectively, and we feel we can this week. But the pass is always going to be something that's there for us, and we're going to throw the ball 30, 35 times a game on average, and hopefully get some big plays like we did Saturday.
So far, the Vikings' 17 seniors have started off where last year's class left off, unbeaten in the regular season.
If the first week is any indication, I think we've got a very good football team, an entertaining football team, and I encourage all the fans to come out this week and see us in our opener.
And there won't be many chances to see Western this season with just 4 home games compared to 6 last year. Of course, that doesn't count the playoffs. Getting back to football, second-ranked Western played its home opener on Saturday, and from the opening kickoff, the Vikings rolled. Ryan Wiggins takes the opening volley from UPS and heads 89 yards for a touchdown. The running back also ran for 120 yards in place of the injured John Frazier. The 7-0 score holds up until late in the first quarter when Darren Erath rolls out and hits Ryan Lamont on a 5-yard TD strike. Wide receiver Chris Nickel put up big numbers again with 155 yards receiving, but no touchdowns this time. Just minutes after the Lamont score, early in the second, Wiggins scores his only touchdown of the day on an 8-yard scamper around the right side, and Western is well on its way to a 40-0 whitewashing of the Loggers. Well, for a 4th straight week, Western is ranked second in the NAIA's national poll. Viking running back Ryan Wiggins is the school's athlete of the week. The senior from Bremerton returned the opening kickoff against UPS 89 yards for the touchdown. Wiggins went on from there to rush for 120 yards and another TD as the Vikes won it 40-0. The fortunes are quite the opposite for the Western football team. The second-ranked Vikings are riding a 12-game winning streak in the regular season and not looking for a letdown on the road in Spokane this week against an inferior Whitworth team. The Pirates have lost 10 straight games, including a 36-7 setback at the hands of Western last season. Despite all that, the Vikings say it won't be hard to stay focused.
Oh, it's not going to be hard at all. I said we went through last year, we went undefeated, and we plan on doing it again, and we just got to keep the focus. And when you lose your focus, that's how teams get beat, and anybody can get beat any weekend. So you stay focused, you keep winning.
Each week, again, we're just focusing on Western Washington University, and we're not going to overlook them. We're going to come out and play them just like we play a Linfield or Central. So.
In fact, the Vikings do meet Linfield next week, but Coach Rob Smith isn't the slightest bit worried his team will be looking ahead.
One thing this team has done over the course of the last 3 or 4 years is they get themselves ready to play on Saturday. They don't get too high or too low, don't get too worked up over who the opponent is. It's just a chance to go out and try to perform and be at our best, and we hope to be at that again on Saturday.
The Vikings defense was certainly at its best last Saturday, pitching a shutout against UPS.
That was a confidence builder. It made our defense feel real good about what we can do.
UPS had one possession that went beyond midfield, so it was a complete domination, as quite honestly it should be. I think we're playing right now at a much higher level than a UPS, and we felt that going in, but you have to go out and show that on the field, and that's the nice thing. The thing that pleases me as a coach is that here's a game that we should have won. We should have won it handily, and that's exactly what we did.
And offensively, the Vikings continued to click as Ryan Wiggins stepped in for the injured John Frazier at running back, and the Western O didn't miss a beat.
We have all the talent in the world, but like I said before, any team can lose any given weekend. So we just got to keep coming out and battling.
Well, you housekeepers who think you have a lot of carpet to vacuum, just try out your Hoover on this. It's Western's new AstroTurf field up on campus, scheduled for completion early next week. It will be used for a variety of activities, including intramural sports, as well as a practice site for the Vikings soccer and football teams. Head football coach Rob Smith is just giddy over the new field.
Well, I feel like a kid at Christmas time. Obviously, it's going to solve many problems that we've had to deal with in terms of field conditions. The lighting situation, obviously, will help us later in the year when we lose the daylight. It's just going to be a tremendous plus to us in terms of being able to run an efficient practice. It's going to be a great recruiting tool.
And while not in the immediate plans, the field could one day host games.
You're talking to the football coach, but now you close your eyes, you can picture, maybe some grandstands or something, and that may be down the road. But we're just real happy with the field and what we have right now.
I was peeking behind this big bulk of cardboard, and there was a scoreboard in there. You'd only need that for games, wouldn't you?
Well, it was actually just part of the plan that, we've got goalposts and we've got a scoreboard, so we're ready.
Not many AstroTurf fields north of Seattle, and those that aren't very far north. Talk about an offense that is clicking. Western leads the nation in that category after 3 games. Saturday in Spokane, the Vikings set a school record for total yardage for a second straight week, amassing 666 yards against Whitworth. Western is also second nationally in scoring. Receiver Chris Nickel has caught for over 100 yards in every game and is less than 200 yards from becoming the school's all-time leading receiver. The Vikings are still ranked second in the NAIA national poll. Their homecoming opponent this week, Linfield, is number 23. Turning to football, the Seahawks had a bye yesterday. The Huskies got smothered at Notre Dame on Saturday, while the Cougars won at Oregon State. And it was homecoming for second-ranked Western as the Vikings hosted number 23 Linfield. Darren Erath hits Mario Casello on a pretty 41-yard touchdown pass in the first quarter to open the scoring. Western adds 2 Wade Gabers field goals to make it 13-0 when Erath hooks up with Chris Nickel on a 34-yard TD toss. It was another big day for Nickel, 19-0 Western at the half. Those two connect again early in the fourth. This time, Erath threads it to Nickel on a 42-yard scoring play. Nickel had 5 receptions for 124 yards and the 2 TDs. It's his school record 7th consecutive game with over 100 yards receiving. Ryan Wiggins had the other Vikings touch on this 12-yard run. He rushed for 200 yards on 34 carries. Wiggins and Nickel carry the day as Western wins it 32-14.
And you talk about go-to guys, certainly when we want to run the ball right now, that's Ryan Wiggins with John Frazier out. And Chris Nickel, if teams are going to get up and challenge him and try to play him in tight man coverage, and we're going to go after him and try to get the ball to him. I'll tell you what, he's a pretty solid player who had an outstanding game again today.
In the past, Linfield's been a really tough opponent, and they step up when they play us. And even though they've lost a lot of players, but they're still a tough team, and we were expecting a pretty good battle. And I think we just came out and did our job offensively and defensively, and it was a good win. And we didn't expect to beat them like this, though. feel like we're on a mission this year to defend our league championship, and we're really trying to avenge the loss we had to Central in the playoffs, and that's kind of in the back of our mind at all times, and that drives us to go hard every play no matter what.
Well, the Western football team remains the second-ranked team in the country this week. In Saturday's 32-14 win over Linfield, Viking place kicker Wade Gabers became the CFA's all-time kick-scoring leader, but he's quick to credit others with his success.
Good. I think it shows what a high potent offense I've been playing for. Those guys being able to give me the opportunity to make all those kicks, but it also shows the job that Darren Erath and Doug Merkovich have been doing for me, and even Matt Merritt, my holder, my freshman year. It shows that those guys really came through for me.
Gabers was an NAIA All-American last season. This year, he currently ranks second in the nation in kick scoring.
I've put a lot of work into being a place kicker. I take a lot of pride in it. And I also feel that it's a lot of mental work that you have to put into being a place kicker, knowing that when the pressure comes down on you, you just have to get all you have to be completely focused on the goalpost and you just have to put the ball through the uprights.
But Gabers felt so isolated from teammates during his freshman year that the Quincy grad considered leaving Western.
Now that I'm a senior, being around all the guys and everything, all my best friends are on this team. Darren Erath, Eric Marin, Matt Cross, Coley Beam, and all those guys are my best friends. So I don't, it's fun being out there with those guys.
Another Western milestone should be broken this Saturday at Southern Oregon. With 55 yards receiving, Chris Nickel will become the school's all-time leading receiver. Nickel already holds the career record for most touchdown passes with 23. However, the injury report for Western is not good. First and second string defensive rovers Jeremy Hayter and John Wamba here suffered possible season-ending knee injuries in Saturday's game. Well, the Western Central football rivalry as spirited as any, but the two teams usually keep their battles focused on the game at hand. And the second-ranked Vikings are plenty focused after last year when the Wildcats knocked then number one Western out of the playoffs in the first round.
We still feel that. That hurt a lot. So we got a lot to prove to ourselves by going down there and beating those guys, letting them know what happened last year was just a fluke.
We haven't talked about revenge or redemption, but like I said earlier, there's no getting around it. That loss still hurts. It still haunts us a little bit, and so it's a chance to play the team that knocked you out and maybe deliver a little more frustration to an already frustrated team.
Frustrated because the Wildcats, whose big-name player is receiver Kenny Rusaw, have lost 4 of their last 5 games.
It's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a battle to the end, and we're going into it expecting a battle. It really doesn't matter. They lost to Simon Fraser last week. They're going to have a bitter taste in their mouth, and they're going to be ready to come at us. We got kind of a revenge factor working for us, too, so it's going to be a really good game.
And you throw their record out the window. They're still a good football team with a lot of very good athletes and probably a very frustrated football team right now who would like nothing better than to take out that frustration on Western. We haven't been there since '93. They've played over here, and I kind of like that a lot better. But we got to go over there in their backyard. It's their homecoming. It's their Hall of Fame game. And like I said, they want to wipe away some disappointment, some frustration.
Meanwhile, Western's perfect season has been pretty much void of frustration, though last week the Vikes stumbled a bit at Southern Oregon.
I think last week kind of brought us down to earth with that game. It's a little too close for us. We escaped there with the victory. So we're taking this game pretty serious, as we always take Central. So the record means nothing to us. It's more of pride than anything.
Regardless of what happened last year, it's a great rivalry. And this year we had a tangible prize. It's for the Cascade Cup, which is a small college version of the Apple Cup. So we're excited to go to Ellensburg. Maybe this weather's preparing us for what we'll see on Saturday.
No kidding, just nasty yesterday, but Western is happy to have that new turf field to practice on.